Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a disturbing story out of Houston, a pastor accused of raping his younger relative.
The House of Representatives ready to stand with Israel, but they first need to fill the House speakership role.
Plus, the Texas state school voucher bill hits the Senate floor.
We're looking at quite a bit of cloud cover and generally going to be light rain overnight. It's going to be a little slippery on the roadway, so do be careful. How long will this last? We'll have all that coming up in a moment.
Plus, the Bloomington Bobcats with a golden opportunity. Catch their story in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. A human smuggling suspect is now in the Victoria County Jail. Monday, the DPS arrested 22-year-old Guillermo Osuna of Houston and Kennedy. It started with a traffic stop. Osuna faces 4 charges of human smuggling. He's in jail in lieu of a $40,000 bond.
18-year-old Jordan Rene Pena of Victoria in court today on a bond warrant. He's charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Pena in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $100,000 bond. Early this morning, Hallettsville police arrested 51-year-old Aubrey Lucen Barnes of Hallettsville. After a chase, Barnes taken into custody on charges of evading in a vehicle, evading on foot, and driving while his license was invalid with prior conviction. Barnes in the Lavaca County Jail in lieu of $20,000 bond. Interim Speaker of the House Patrick McHenry assuring Israel Congress stands ready to help in their war with Hamas.
Helping Israel means first filling the speaker vacancy left by Kevin McCarthy, who was voted out just last week.
Republicans on Capitol Hill are still divided on who they want to be the next Speaker of the House as pressure mounts to make a pick so the House can start to function again.
The House needs to get back to work.
The top candidates for Speaker, Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan and Majority Leader Steve Scalise, making their case to colleagues Tuesday during a closed-door candidates forum. There's no clear frontrunner between the two, though Jordan says Republicans have to unite before a full vote.
I think it's real important that we go to the floor with 217 votes.
GOP lawmakers hope to avoid a potentially embarrassing process like what happened in January to Kevin McCarthy when he was elected Speaker after 15 rounds.
Quite frankly, I don't want to repeat what we did on the floor with multiple candidates.
The two frontrunners have been jockeying for votes, Jordan securing an endorsement from former President Trump, Scalise picking up support from another member of leadership, Whip Tom Emmer. As members mull over their top choice, Scalise's health is a consideration. He's currently battling blood cancer. Without a speaker, no new legislation can be introduced, including government spending or aid for Israel or Ukraine, and the crisis in Israel adding urgency to select a leader quickly.
Get this thing done and get the work of the American people, but also help the people of Israel defend themselves.
Meanwhile, the House Intelligence Committee will receive a closed-door briefing from the Biden administration on the conflict between Israel and the terrorist group Hamas.
President Biden saying in an address to the nation that he is going to formally request from Congress an additional supplemental funding bill for Israel, a move that is likely going to have bipartisan support from lawmakers. On Capitol Hill, Liz Landers, ABC News.
Governor Greg Abbott ordered state flags lowered to half-staff to honor the more than 2,000 victims killed in the Israeli-Hamas war. All Texas flags on state buildings, facilities, and offices are ordered to half-staff immediately to, quote, honor those who lost their lives during the heinous attacks of war carried out against Israel and its people, which also killed Americans, unquote. Flags can return to full staff at sunset this Saturday.
In Houston, hundreds of people gathered at a synagogue to denounce the terror attacks in Israel. The Jewish Federation of Greater Houston held the event Monday night. Local leaders gathered at the Beth Yeshurun Synagogue. They strongly condemned the terror attacks by the Palestinian militant group Hamas.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis, who tells me we're going to have another chilly weekend, which is October, perfect weather.
Chilly, isn't it? Wasn't it beautiful last weekend?
I thought it was great.
All right,
Phenomenal.
we're going to do that again this coming weekend, so that's good stuff. Right now, it's kind of damp and drizzly out there, and the question is, where's all this stuff coming from? It's coming from the Pacific. Yes, we've got some storms down there spinning up that moisture up over the mountains and over our area, and you can see how most of the rain has been south of us today. In fact, it's raining heavily all the way down to Laredo. That's coming our way, and it's going to be damp overnight. But it will clear, and then we will get another good weekend out of this. So we'll be talking more about that coming up in a moment. Back to you.
All right, Mac, thank you. Lavaca County Commissioners extended the burn ban there this afternoon. The burn ban now extended for at least another week. Lavaca County has not had enough rain to lower the drought index to a safe level for burning. The burn ban was put into effect in Lavaca County July 10th.
A Houston area pastor accused of raping one of his underage family members is now in custody.
The man accused of impregnating the victim, he was in court Monday.
We want to warn our viewers the details in this story are disturbing.
She had been around this monster since she was about 6 years old.
This man asked not to be identified as to protect his daughter's identity. That isn't stopping him from speaking out about this man, 39-year-old Robert L. Carter, who he says was a family member to his daughter.
He's always been big to her, you know, and I had realized that she'd been fearful.
The man whose profile on the Black Preachers Network website has him listed as a bishop and senior pastor is now an accused rapist.
I don't understand, you know, how you can carry yourself, walk around preaching the word and living, you know, a lie.
According to Carter's arrest warrant filed last month, the abuse began back in 2008 when the victim was 7 years old. It states he would go in her room and make her perform a sex act on him on a nightly basis.
How? Like, how could you even get aroused? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
The warrant states the abuse got worse over the years and that it would happen in multiple locations, including their home when everyone was asleep, Carter's grandmother's home, and behind an HEB in the parking lot before dropping the victim off at school. The document also states that Carter would bring the victim here to the Greater Bible Way Church in Sunnyside, where he had an office, and rape her.
She's had an episode where she ended up in the hospital, you know, for psychiatric reasons.
When she was 17, the warrant states she secretly had Carter's baby.
What if she would have died that night? She had the baby in the closet by herself. And he came and got the baby and took the baby to a fire station and dropped the baby off.
With many questions, we went to Carter's address listed on the warrant. But no one seemed to be home, so we called him.
The person you are calling is not available. Record your message at the tone.
No answer.
The victim, now in her 20s, reportedly working to get the child back into her custody.
A state Senate committee passed a school choice bill onto the full Texas Senate. Senate Bill 1 would allow families who leave the state's public education system access to $8,000 of taxpayer money each year to pay for private schooling. Critics argue it's wrong to use tax dollars to help parents put their children in private schools when the money could provide help to public schools. The Texas State Teachers Association says vouchers would defund the public school system. Supporters of the idea says it gives parents a choice on where they can send their child to school.
A school voucher bill is a priority for Governor Abbott this special session. KXAN reports a poll by the Texas Politics Project shows 60% of poll respondents, both Republicans and Democrats, said school safety should be a top priority.
So here's your viewer poll this evening. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you support the school voucher bill? Yes or no? According to these results, 30% say yes and 70% stand at no. We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10.
The candidate pool for the Republican nomination in next year's presidential election just got a little smaller. Will Hurd announced Monday he has dropped out of the primary. The former state congressman and San Antonio native says, quote, "It has become clear to me and my team the time has come to suspend our campaign," unquote. Hurd was an outspoken critic of former President Trump, who is still the front runner. Hurd announced he's endorsing former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley in the contest. Two pilots from Poland in the hospital after their racing balloon crashed into a power line and caught fire. The crash happened around 7:25 p.m. in Crandall. That's about 30 minutes east of downtown Dallas. The pair were among 17 teams racing in the Gordon Bennett gas balloon race, which launched Saturday from New Mexico. Both were in stable condition at a Dallas hospital. The goal in the race is to fly the farthest nonstop from the launch site. The winning team brings the next race to their country. The Tri-City Empowerment Council plans to celebrate 75 years of the Dole School this weekend. Dole School served as the first school for African Americans in Cuero. Now the community plans to celebrate its legacy this weekend. The Tri-City Empowerment Council will host a banquet honoring teachers, students, and administrators from the school at Chisholm Heritage Trail Museum. Then they will host the second annual Gospel Fest this Saturday after the Turkey Fest parade in Cuero. The council, starting with these celebrations, have big plans on the way.
We want to take it and utilize it as a resource center. We want to make sure that those that would not be able to do some of the things that others do, we're making sure that they have that avenue.
They plan to reopen the building as a recreation center geared towards children. The building will include a gym, STEM program, and much more. The Tri-City Empowerment Council still in the beginning phases of the funding process. The council confident that the Dole School will reopen and serve the community again.
Homes in Central Texas are being built with emerging 3D technology. You can read this story by the Texas Tribune on our CrossroadsToday.com website.
We have seen those houses being built by 3D.
Near Georgetown, right?
It is, yeah, it's unbelievable.
Incredible.
Unbelievable. All right, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so when you're on YouTube, you can get Crossroads Today. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6. A lawsuit filed in Utah warning against the dangers of TikTok to children.
Also ahead, we bring you a warm story from Dallas where a pastor donates his kidney to a young girl in need.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is seeking information about an unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. The Victoria Police Department is requesting assistance in identification of a Hispanic male subject which was caught on surveillance video. The male subject appeared to have facial hair and tattoos on both arms. The suspect was carrying a dark-colored backpack and wearing a silver-colored watch. This crime occurred on August 13, 2023, at a business at the 1300 block of East Crestwood Drive. If you have any information about this unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, please call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. You can also submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by visiting our website at www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to an arrest or charges being filed, you can earn a cash reward. With the Victoria Police Department, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
Utah joined a growing list of states in a lawsuit against TikTok, claiming the social media company is luring children into unhealthy habits. The suit specifically cites public health concerns and refers to research which suggests children who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media have a higher risk of mental health issues like anxiety and depression. The U.S. Supreme Court will soon take up the question of whether attempts to regulate social media platforms violate the Constitution. A pastor in the Dallas area is showing what it truly means to love thy neighbor.
When Shane Webb heard a young lady was dealing with kidney failure, he stepped up to help.
For Pastor Shane Webb, it was a journey that started 6 years ago. He was working at a church in Mount Pleasant, Texas, when a deep desire arose from within.
And I heard a presentation about the need for kidney donation, and it really set off something in my heart.
He said that feeling never went away, even after moving here to Irving. In fact, it nagged at him.
Didn't think I could take off that much time, and I didn't have anyone that I knew that needed one.
Until he found someone right in front of him, literally while in line at a church function.
And she is a member of my congregation and told me this story about her granddaughter that really needed this transplant, and I said, well, she can have one of mine.
Easier said than done. According to UC Davis Health, the odds of a total stranger being a perfect match with a specific kidney patient are about 1 in 100,000. And you wouldn't believe.
You're a match with a complete stranger. You know, what's the likelihood of that?
It's insane.
Claudia Hagman has had kidney problems for over a decade and went on dialysis in 2021 at just 25 years old. Not only did the pair have to match, but Shane had to be healthy enough to donate. And of course, he was. In May of this year, a life forever changed.
I have been able to go on hikes and do things and go see my friends at spur of the moment and not be afraid of my own body.
And though rare, Shane says in some ways their story doesn't feel random at all.
Incredible, because for me that was kind of the answer, like, hey, this is the right time, this is the right person. You know, Jesus says if you have 2 coats, you know, give one to the person that needs one. And I thought that, you know, applied to my organs too.
A scary scene in Kentucky after a car stalled out near railroad tracks as a train was approaching. A group of bystanders jumped into action to help. The video shows the car come to a stop and turn the hazard lights on as the train approached from behind. At one point, a child got out of the SUV before getting back in. Then the driver gets out and tries to push. The train was able to come to a complete stop. The conductor got out to make sure everyone was okay.
Whew. Well, good afternoon, everybody. All this cloud cover, moisture, light rain, where's it coming from? It's coming from a tropical storm, actually a hurricane in the Pacific Ocean. You can see how that moisture is streaming up on top of us. We'll be talking about how long this gloomy weather will last, and we'll take a look at your weekend too. Why not? We'll be right back with more after this. Welcome back, everyone. You can see on our live camera here lots of cloud deck rolling over us, but it's up pretty high, and it is what's giving us this what we call stratiform rain. In other words, the cloud decks are going like this. They're not building up, so there's no severe weather that we need to worry about. It's just how much rain are we going to get. We're hoping, you know, a little bit of rain would be nice. We're looking at 71 degrees right about now. Some people are shivering out there. Managed to get up to 78, which is way far down from our average of 86. We can't do anything average. I mean, we're either super hot or super cool. There you see the cloud deck and the rain rolling up from the south. It is, of course, you got to remember, the moisture is tropical. It has to go up over the mountains. It's carried by the upper winds over Texas, and looks like the heaviest activity is just south of us, all the way down into the Laredo area. In fact, here's a pretty good graphic. This is the rainfall totals over the last 12 hours. You can see how Victoria barely got into the game. A little bit heavier down south toward Refugio, and as you can see right about there, from Refugio all the way down 59 to Laredo is where they got the heaviest rainfall, possibly up to an inch in those areas. So we will likely see a steady rain with occasional shower activity overnight into tomorrow morning. So yeah, it's going to be cloudy, or I hate to use the word gloomy because we've been waiting for this for so long, but tomorrow's temperatures in the cloud deck is still going to be in the upper 70s and a few 80s. But you notice on this map, it's perfect, you see these yellow lines going this way? Well, that's the jet stream, and that is going to take this storm and this potential storm right over to Florida. It is not moving northbound, so the chances for any significant rainfall are not too good in terms of us, but it's an interesting dilemma that this is Lydia, the hurricane that is going to slam into northern Mexico, Pacific coast of Mexico tonight, and then fall apart right about here. So that moisture has to go somewhere. It's going to go over deep South Texas. It is going to affect us as well. And so we go forward in future time, and you can see how the storms continue moving to the northeast. They're going to actually produce quite a bit of rain for Florida and the Gulf Coast on that side of the Gulf. But for us, while we're going to clear up on Thursday, then on Friday, another cool dry front comes in. Hope you liked last weekend, if you remember it. It's going to be just like that this coming weekend, because this front will come in on Friday and give us a pretty clear weekend. Now, the solar eclipse is on the 14th. I just wanted to show you this map. This in yellow, these are all the states that are going to get to see the eclipse. And you can see how the path of totality goes pretty much right on top of us. So we're very fortunate, and the weather is really going to cooperate. So I think we're going to have a great, this is around noontime. We'll have more information as we get closer, but that's something that we've got to look forward to. All right, and certainly the kids, you know, I've got some ideas for you. 69 to 79 tomorrow with overcast, drizzly skies. Winter weather arrives in the crossroads early. Only 81, brr, cold throughout Cuero with overcast and drizzly skies. We get a load of this by Thursday. The cloud deck thins out. Friday looks good. Then the front comes in and cools us down to a cool, nice and sunny weekend coming in beginning on Friday night. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, and you can put Crossroads Today right on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's sports reporter Zach Brown.
Well, the Astros hit the road trying to regain the series lead. I'll have that coming up in sports. The Bloomington Bobcat program walking around with their chest out these days for the first time in a while. They just broke a nearly decade-long losing streak with a big game coming up against Ganado. I was there yesterday, and the vibe and mentality of this Bloomington program changing drastically. The Bloomington Bobcats won a district game for the first time in almost a decade, defeating Kennedy 44-30. Now everyone can excel a bit.
It's a funny thing. Nobody likes to focus on it when it's still happening. Now, when that sucker's over, everybody's excited as can be. For us to be able to, talk to the kids about where we're going to go and paint a picture of it. But a lot of times they really didn't know what that was going to look like yet.
The picture becoming more clear to the team and community now more than ever, as they now control their own destiny to making the playoffs after being looked down upon for so long.
Everything we've been working for, it all worked out. Before they'd just be like, oh, Bloomington's gonna lose again, but now like they have hope in us, they have faith in us. They've been really helping out with stuff too, like events and stuff.
I always hear about people talking about down on Bloomington like in the previous years, like my freshman and sophomore year. There's nothing I could do about it because I was an underclassman and I didn't get much playing time. But now since junior and senior year, I get so much more playing time and I'm actually having impacts on every game. So like I just see like people not thinking that we're the laughingstock of the state, and now we're actually like the big talk in other towns, talking about how Bloomington got good and stuff like that.
Hey, hold on, check, we spent 19.
Earlier this year, the Bobcats talked about investment in terms of effort from his team and wanting to get the community more involved. They've gotten a lot of that this year. Now they want to build something that lasts for years to come.
People won't quit if they have to invest a whole lot. And it's not necessarily like talking about quit the program. They won't quit a play, You get blocked, you won't stay blocked. You get knocked down, you won't stay knocked down. You miss a tackle, you won't sit there and pout.
I practice so hard every day because like we have little kids that come out here, like our water boys and stuff like that. They see how hard we're working, so they know that you can win here at Bloomington, and it's not the same Bloomington from the past. And I feel like we've changed that culture a lot, like in the past 2 years, for sure.
Big game this Friday in Bloomington, where they will host the Ganado Indians, who are 5-1 and undefeated in district play. And while we're on the topic of postseason, the Astros in action early today. It scored early and often. Kyle Tucker served one into left field to get the scoring started, but the big blow in the inning came from Jose Abreu, 3-run bomb to cap off a 4 spot in the first inning off Sonny Gray. If Abreu has a big postseason, could shush a lot of doubters. And Alex Bregman in the 5th inning wants to play a bit of long ball himself. Jose Abreu would add one more homer in the 9th. Astros win 9-1. In the case of the Astros, there's no place like the road, where they were 51-30. They carried that into the playoffs. That's it for your sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach. We're back in a moment. A pumpkin set a world record and won. We have the details straight ahead.
A 50-year fall tradition in the California Bay Area, the World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off. Nick Kennedy's pumpkin smashed a state record, coming in at almost 2,500 pounds. Right after that, defending champ Travis Ginger brought in a pumpkin weighing a world record 2,749 pounds. It took him 33 hours to drive his prize pumpkin from his home in Minnesota to the competition. He takes home $30,000 in prize money. He gets a championship ring. They don't get a gold medal for that. They get a gourd medal. for the highest pumpkin.
That's a lot of pies.
That's a lot of pies.
Pies.
Are we getting any kind of rain tonight?
Yes, the rain is going to be steady and to moderate, you know. It's not going to be like those big summer rains that came down hard. We're going to look at rather gloomy, damp conditions, so drive carefully. This is the time when the roadways get slick, when the rain is very light, and that'll happen through most of Wednesday. By Wednesday night, it does thin out. It's only 20% on Thursday, and then another cool front rolls in Friday night for a great weekend. Finally, we've got temperatures that are appropriate for pumpkins, okay?
That's right. All right, thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.